Good evening, dear friends. Today we will be seeing the new topic of Unit 2, that is widow remarriages. As we have seen in the last class, anti-sati movement, the same part little bit has been in because both are dealing with the woman concept. So here, basically, it is some sort of part and parcel of the ancient society, which we are talking about the Vedas, and it is a talk of ancient societies, and also which is related to the medieval period, and also reflecting to the modern present India in period. What I'm saying. So here we will be talking about, we will be seeing it how the practice of widow remarriages has been taken place, and who has initiated this reform movement, and how how the those days, basically it may be in Vedic period or it may be in other period, other era, and also in the during the time of British rule, with these different periods or different sections, how they have been useful for the eradicating, how the earlier class, and I mean the earlier topic in terms of anti-sati, how they have been successfully eradicated those days this anti-sati system practice. Even the concept of widow remarriage, they have at least they have tried the best, and it's still today, that I mean the later part of the modern era, the mid 18th century to early 19th century, it has got a lot of changes in the minds of the people, and also the society in terms of the blind beliefs or faiths. Now, when we look at it, it's a customary everywhere, because basically when you look into the widow remarriages, it's a customary everywhere classified that human community are divided on the basis of sex, which the into two groups, men and women, where it is a universal factor. This biological fact of sex has created much difference between the both male and female. The main it may be their main objectives, their dreams, their desires, their duties, their rights, their responsibilities, their dress styles or the behavior pattern, their roles, and etc. etc. Both men and women, they differ completely with each other. So nowhere in the world, on the humanity, the human, basically, I mean both men and women, they were treated alike or assigned the same status. So always, if you see the history, and also if you gone through, you see that there is always difference, there is always difference between men and women, and there is always difference between people seeing at a woman at one and at one aspect, and a woman at the other aspect, in terms of anything whatever we have just seen. Means women have not been able to lead a life very successfully, or in terms of what I mean to say successfully means on par with equal to men in terms of equality. Yeah, this doesn't mean that women and men and women represent two different cultures. I'm not saying, but even though they represent to two different sexual biology, but they represent to one way life, one way of living of life, one culture and one heritage. That is true, which we have seen in our Indian culture. And even the great saint, philosopher, and the great guru, that what we dream, the Swami Vivekananda ji, he has rightly said one quote that the country and the nation which does not respect women have never become great, nor will ever be great or become great in future. This was his famous quotation of Swami Vivekananda ji, in terms of looking at women perspectives. Like in terms of women, we will see women in ancient India, particularly during the Vedic period, they enjoyed a position which was a which was whole much was satisfactory than in terms of later period. I mean, they enjoyed much of some sort of respect. Women underwent almost all kind of what is problematic situations during the medieval period, and positions were improving during the British rule and after the independence. Today, today women almost assign equal status with equal to men, but are equal to men in all political, economical, education, and other disabilities have been removed, which were a constant or which is hurdling to the women, and you know they have removed all the problems or difficulties, and they made a laws also which are legally protecting for the rights of the women. Means that doesn't mean that however mean that women completely free and from their problems, but still they are facing some problem, but they don't but they do have their own problem, what I mean to say. Basically, if you see, where 50% of the population, now we are fighting for 50% of equal rights to women also, in terms of getting equality in parliament also. In Indian constituency, both men and women must be there equally. So here the study, basically in the study history, human society reveals that no societies in the world, where women enjoyed absolute equality on par with men. So in the history also we see that women were not even enjoying the equality on par with the men in the nations also. But everywhere they are, they were subject to inequality, discrimination, and exploitation, subjugation, and different types of problems they were hurdled. They were being subjugated, deployed, and still now there are many problems which have been faced by the women. But it has been changed a bit, but continuously in this modern era, modern times, they have been continuously changing this kind of factor, which we will be seeing in the later part of the history of the movement. But anyhow, it is very, very important. What I want to say is, like, women in general, basically women has many women has played a very many roles. What I mean to say, they have played very tremendous roles, and you know they they helped a lot in terms of people, and also in terms of in terms of development of the society, development of the system at a larger volume. But things are not alike. They have developed. Now women status represent very equally, at least in India. They are almost all equal to men in the modern area, because education and everything has been given equal status to men and women. There is no kind of discrimination given to the given independent men or women, or the boy and the girl. This is a brief, just a background, a brief backgroundical, touch up of sketch of the women's status in India. Basically, when we look at the main point, main concept, the widow remarriage, right? When we see that it has been very profound, or it has been, when we see it into a very larger section, or when we see it into a very larger section, we have seen how different things have played different roles, basically. And widow remarriage, widow remarriage in modern India was very sensitive issue, basically, and too much one of their social reform movement in the system. It was not so easy, because, as I said, this, when I compared this to the Sati movement, anti-Sati, I'm sorry, there it was not so easy. It is also a sensitive and sensible movement, because it was a customary practice of the people in the then society, where Brahmins were only according to Panda Purana, that some sort of Purana, where some sort of liberty was there for higher caste women, basically Brahmins. They were excluded in terms of self immolation in the fire after death of the husband. But here the same type of situation has been here in widow remarriages, where it is very sensitive in terms of the system, where social reformers or religious reformers had made a very wonderful effort in terms of curtailing this and also to come out with a solution, and at least to solve this problem to some extent, not at least not fully, at least they have solved to the best, but which we have seen a very great result. In this view, in this widow remarriages reform movement, or widow remarriage concept, uh, the one reformer, the very one and one and the only one reformer, I'm not saying only one, I'm sorry, the one and the foremost reformer we get in the mind of us is Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar Rao. He is one of the religious and social reformer of India. From 1820 to 91 he was there, and he was the foremost in terms of modern India. Basically, he had devoted his life for the for improvement status of Hindu widows, and making them remarriage them, widow remarriages, and he has sacrificed his entire life. He has sacrificed in terms of making Hindu woman to get remarried again, because Hindu widow to get remarried again. I doubt, because of his efforts and because of his initiative and where he dedicated his life, where from his efforts only we see that there was when a Hindu Widow Remarriage Act has been set up in the year 1856. This I'll be coming in just a couple of minutes. After a couple of minutes, what exactly is how and what exactly is this Hindu Widow Remarriage Act how came in 1856. So basically, the practice of widow remarriage has prevailed in ancient India without any hurdles or problems, and as one of the practice or customary things in the society, and it was just one of the practice, as we have seen in the anti-sati movement. I'm sorry. Same thing here. Widow remarriages was not. They were abolished. They were not so easy. It was not so hard. It was not so easy for a woman to get again remarried after the death of her husband. But basically, when we see that when husband dies, the sati system came into the practice, and also we have seen that n number of problems. Okay, they also thought that basically after in terms of widow remarriages, they thought if the word pavitra. Pavitra means like a pure soul, not a pure body, pure soul, where after a husband died, a woman must not get married twice. Basically, that is not termed as a pavitra, purity. It means impurity. It's something like it is something against the society, against it's like you have forbidden the law of the Veda, or something like Shastras, and women were not accepted. So that's why, to keep it the pavitrata, the women were not even remarried. They used to live in that same life, basically the upper caste also. And when it comes to the child widow, their life were very horrible. Okay, and when it very, very horrible, because the very child, if the husband dies, then whole life she used to and also those days they used to we'll be seeing it how they have been basically the pains and the problems which woman has bared those days after the husband died. Okay, so that is it is unimaginable, and it's a sad part also to be when I have gone through when I was studying this kind of literature. So I'm sorry. So during the Vedic period, when it comes to the Vedic period, widow remarriages were allowed. In Vedic periods, the widow remarriage was allowed in all the caste. Just sati, which was practice was forbidden for Brahmins, except Brahmin caste, but other caste were they used to follow the sati system. But here, in terms of remarriages, all the caste used to they allowed for remarriage according to Vedic in the Vedic age. I'm sorry, in the Vedic age. So, the Narada Purana, in Narada Purana, they have classified this remarriage into three different types or three different classifications. Okay, they have made. The first one is that the married woman, basically the married woman who fulfill the fulfilled the rituals of marriage, but did not live with her husband for a single day, that lady can be remarried. Number one, that a married woman, okay, who fulfilled the rituals of the marriage but did not live with the husband even for a single day, and where the husband died, then that lady, that woman can remarry again. That is number one type they have categorized in the Vedic period, the Vedic age. Second, the woman who after leaving her first husband, who married and after leaving him, him means the first marriage, again comes back to him after parting with her second husband. Two marriages for a woman means first marriage when after taking place of woman, okay, she marries a man and she left her, again she goes married second woman, second husband, sorry, and when she come back to the first husband after parting, means after having a relationship with the second husband, those ladies or those women can also be remarried. That is number two. Hope you understood. The third one is the woman who has been given who has been given to any sapinda after her husband expires or dies. Those women can also be given. Those who can also be get remarried. So these three types of widow remarriage has been categorized in the Vedic time. Even if you see in fact, even in the Rig Veda, it is prescribed that widow should give up thinking of her late husband. When the husband died, so in Vedic period, they say that woman should give up thinking of her first husband or the late husband and should accept the marriage proposal of the person whom they or whom she or whom they want to marry her. Means this is choice. Means women must not be in the clutches or it must be they must not go into sati system where to self immolated in the funerals of the prey of her husband, and they must not live idle after husband died in the house. So they must also be given some sort of liberty or proposal that they should accept the marriage proposal, okay, of a person whoever they like to want to marry, they can also marry. So this was in Vedic period and Rig Vedic period. This kind of flexibility was there in remarriage system. But it was later in 10th and 11th century AD that widow remarriage was not encouraged, and it was universally forbidden by the society because of because the system of sati was coming incredibly popular. It was becoming incredibly popular, and also they upheld as a the right path is to adopt a widow remarriage only, because many of the women after the husband died, they were taking the path of sati. They are burning, they are immolating themselves in the fire in the funerals of the husband. So to stop them, which was very popularized. So and also they were adapted to so they were accepting. They were forcing, or they were encouraging, not only forcing, they were encouraging women remarriage. That was also one of the a right perspective or right aspect in those 10th and 11th centuries, because the condition of the women, or widows in Hindu society, this has become very terrible. Basically, to be very frank, they are becoming very terrible. If you see closely, if you read closely the scripts or the literature of the women remarriage in the historical perspective, it has been because those days, why I am saying that women condition was becoming very terrible, and it's very vulnerable, because women were forced to live or worse situations, because such as they were illegit sexual relationship, illegal sexual relationship, and the women were, basically who the widowers, okay, they were sexually maintaining the sexual relationship, illegal relationship, and they were kidnapping, and they were also, I mean, they were forced in terms of prostitution and also illicit children. So these kind of things were happening in terms of the society, or in terms of the system, because those days the situation was becoming so worse. That's the thing they were that's the thing they were like they were encouraging the woman widow remarriage system. So then later on, as I said, if you remember just a couple of minutes earlier, I said Ishwarchan Vidyasagar Rao was the first social reformer who has initiated this religious and social reform movement of Hindu widow remarriage, and also he has dedicated his life. Okay, so he by his efforts only the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act has come in the year 1856, because in modern days India has seen increasing awareness about the widows, and also the bad conditions which were existed. We just now have said you here, and there were number of religious and social reformers who carried for the betterment of the betterment and improve the conditions of the women, and as well as demanded that there should be some legalized, some an authentic rule law, where where the society must also be seen a very have some sort of good values and morals. Because of this widow women's, there have been lot of illegal things which have been practiced in the society. So in terms of the religious and the social reformers, in the forefront, they have much they stopped these things, and in the front line. And in modern India, after making an Hindu Widow Remarriage Act in 1856, we see that they were much of the pressure, and also urged the British government, who were ruling our nation, country, I'm sorry, they paid a legislature that would also enable them to make a Hindu widow to remarry. And they were pressure from the social reformers in the modern times, and they supported the demand also. Basically, Ishwarchan Vidyasagar, as I said, they also collected much of the information, and also he has collected about 1,000 to 10,000 signatures of the people, and also sent the petition to the Indian Legislative Council also in favor of the act, the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act. And finally the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act has set up in the year 1856. However, if you see that the act, or the Widow Remarriage Act, Hindu Widow, after formation of the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act, you see they did not have changed the status of widows. Basically, when we see in a larger text or larger scenario, with the high, because the high caste, even those days also, after setting up the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act also, the high caste people basically they did not allow the widower to wear jewelry, and they required, they given up their ornaments and the jewelries also, and also subsidized the simple food. And they also, for a child widower, they have shaved the head. And okay, because the young widowers, they were taken, because those days it was very hard time, and people, the laws and rules were not so harsh or rigid. Those days it was very flexible and easy going. So the young widowers were taken away by the men, and they were forcibly made their mistress, or and carry them to the urban brothels. Okay, so this way the women's situation, that was extremely bad, and it was a deplorable one, and which was not even comparable, and they were not even judged. And it was also, means it was not taken so easily also. I mean, like, lot of things has been given. But finally, when we see, when we look into this act in very more carefully, we see that how the system has come up with the other connotations, how the society slowly made the laws. And now when we compare, now the scenario is quite vice versa. It is not same. It's very improved version is being set up because the society itself is changed. Everybody got education. Both male, boys and girls are being raised from rural area to urban area. Everywhere education is given much of the priority, and we see that most people are being educated, and due to the education and due to the reforms, due to the more laws, more amendments, more acts, more awareness, now there is no point of nor anti sat nor sati system is prevailing, nor the widowers are facing the same old problem which they used to face in the earlier ages. Now it is very much on par. Everybody are aware, and now widow remarriages is a common thing, and it is accepted by the society for the better functioning of the system, better function of the society. It may be their group, their caste, or their people. So everything we have been, everything we are seen, everything is seen as well versed. Okay, and everybody we are encouraging also in the now present system or present society, because everyone nowadays that nobody is taking much of that of keen interest in terms of in terms of looking at widowers in a different way, or making their lives very pathetic or horrible. Now they are everybody, as women are nowadays are in forefront in terms of education, and they are also equal in terms of comparable to men, and they are also nowadays the women are more better than men in compared to every field, and that we have to respect and accept. And they are the forefronters, the forerunners of the society. And now the remarriage, even after marriage they are broken, divorce have been taking place, and they are going for remarriage. The system is changed. Now it is not comparable. Now we cannot compare the version which were prevailing in the olden days. But as we see today, now it is very good, and there are more laws, more rules, more legislation, and much of laws are being there present system, where it is supporting to the women in general. Basically women, they have been supporting, much of the things are been supporting to the women. So this system has, so by the help of the social reformers, religious and social reformers, it has taken a very positive and a very successful changes has been taken place in the system. So this is all about widow widow remarriage, my friends. If there is anything, please ping to me personally. Thank you.